Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, you know him, he's my co-host, he's Mr. Free Tatty Taylor.
Yes, good evening everybody.
Welcome back, new listeners and of course you repeat offenders. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast.
Welcome.
We're talking UFOs this week, celebrating all things UFO related. It's been UFO week, as well as, with a lot of stuff going on in Roswell at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Celebrating UFOs of all kinds and sightings. We're talking this week about the extremely compelling and controversial case of alien abduction that occurred to Linda Napolitano.
That's right.
I finally got that right.
You did.
This is one of those stories that it's like there was actually eyewitnesses.
Yeah.
It's been well researched, and it's a well-known case.
Yeah.
Was it Budd Hopkins who originally researched it?
Yeah.
And so Napolitano. I'm going to just call her Linda.
Yeah.
Right. So Linda claims
that
that she was abducted by so-called grey aliens who floated her from her bedroom and taken her aboard the ship. We're going to be talking a bit more about this later on in the show.
Yeah, really.
It's definitely something to look forward to.
Definitely.
That's coming up a little bit later. Plus, what's fucked up where you're from and the NASA news.
Yeah.
So,
which we've got some interesting news in there.
Oh, worth sticking. Oh, there is this week.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's good show this week. Lots going on. And plus, we've got a week off next week.
We deserve it.
We're having a week off, but that's not to say that we're having a week off. We're actually doing other stuff, and you will find out, and you will get bits coming up.
Yep, it's all for you.
So, other than that, what we've got, what were you up to this week? What have you been doing?
Me, I've been doing a bit of archery.
I was going to say, you just jump straight into it, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm doing this. It's like I've got that written down, as something we did together, So
we had a little competition.
We did that. We were invited down to go and shoot some arrows, Robin Hood style.
Yeah.
Now it's funny that because obviously I was talking about how I made my own bow a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was like one of a friend of ours said, well, if you want to come down and shoot some real arrows.
Why not?
You want to come down, sort it out, we get it on it.
Yeah.
So, we went down, shot a few arrows. We made things interesting to me, and Taylor actually was really impressed, gotta say.
Well,
I was really impressed with your shooting skills.
I try my best.
If you want to check it out, there's the video is available on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you can see our survival bow skills in action.
See our efforts.
It's just a lot. It's a laugh just to watch our failings.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You from like I say, you really impressed me in the fact that at the very beginning you couldn't really kind of get your head around how you held the bow and stuff, and then all of a sudden you were just fucking got your eye in. And absolutely just smashing it. So well done. Nice. Came out with the winning score. So if you want to see us doing some crazy stuff like this again, just let us know because we enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and it was good to put it out there as well. So go over to YouTube and check the video out for that. Plus, like I say, we've got a week off next week, but we will be making some more content there as well.
Yeah. So we're doing it for you, not just for us.
Plus we've got some great guests.
We are.
Which are coming up, lined up very shortly as well.
Defo.
So,
Wait.
It's been an interesting week this week for random stuff. We've got a really good What's Fucked Up Where You're From this week, which comes from Alan in Nottingham. Yeah, nice. He writes... obviously, Nottingham has links with the legends of Robin Hood and stuff.
Yeah.
But he said you'd actually be surprised at how much stuff is actually going on in Nottingham paranormal-wise.
Oh, right, okay.
Got a couple of examples here. Walton Hall. Right, if you've ever heard of this place, right? So Walton Hall is an Elizabethan mansion that sits in the heart of Nottingham, right? It's is and it's the only one in the area, and apparently it's one of the most haunted buildings. Yeah.
Right.
So, it was built by Francis Woolbury, and it's like basically an ancient manor house, right?
Yeah.
So apparently the property has been known to be haunted by Lady Middleton.
Oh.
Right. She was basically fell foul of death. She, obviously she died in ways, I don't know. But she was said to haunt the rear of the property, particularly room 19. Now, the building itself's got quite a bit of history, right? But in more recent years, Walton Hall was used as Wayne Manor in the Dark Knight Rises movie.
Yeah.
So, you can check it out from that. But the property is basically about 5 miles north of Gotham in Northamptonshire, which is where the fictional city Gotham City gets its real name.
Yeah, it's
so that's pretty cool, isn't it? Full circle.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite a cool little what's fucked up where you're from. Another haunted area, haunted building in Nottingham is the British Transport Police Station.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. That's a bit
so
of a
apparently
weird
reports of paranormal activity started coming from people who work there, such as police officers who claim to become a little bit uncomfortable. And obviously they're pretty credible, I would have supposed. Do you know what I mean? So they were saying, obviously the police station in Nottingham, the building was haunted, specifically the toilets, and said it's to be haunted by a male spirit.
Okay.
The first person to report the strange activities was around 1971, when an officer working alone at night heard the door slam. Went to investigate and found was a set of wet footprints heading from the toilet.
That's strange.
So yeah, that is weird, isn't it? It's almost like that one last week with the wet puddle.
Yeah.
So it's like how do ghosts manage to manifest water?
Yeah, but you could say that about
been travelling in the pipes.
Well, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose plasma. Maybe that's what it is. It's not wet. It's just plasma.
Used plasma or just changed in a different form.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, there's been obviously quite a lot of other sightings and other things going on in the police station, but one of them was by a man. He walked into the toilets, but then felt him follow him back out of the room.
Oh,
and obviously it was completely empty. So, well, thanks, Alan, for getting in touch and sending us some information about what's going on in his area.
Yeah.
You can do too. By sending us an email to neverstraightanswer@gmail.com or just hitting us up on social media, and we could be featuring your town and what's going on in your area in next week's episode.
We will.
Well, there you go. This week's episode, gotta say, is brought to you in part by our Patreons. Can't do it without you. And if you want to get involved and help us create great content for radio and audio and visual things, then you know what to do. Get over to Patreon and help us by joining one of the tier levels. What are they, Taylor?
They are, level 1 is agent.
Level 1.
Then we have level 2 as special agent.
Level 2.
And level 3 is beyond top secret.
Beyond, baby. Beyond top secret.
Beyond.
Level 3.
Yeah.
And you only get to level 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And there's actually going to be a perk coming out for level 3 people.
Yes.
That you don't want to miss. Yeah, right. And, so it's worth joining up.
Get in there before
and it will pay it's in arrears as well. So, like, if you join level 3 now, you'll get it eventually anyway. Do you know what I mean?
When we've got it, you
get it.
Yeah, straight off.
If you got it, we'll give it.
Straight off fresh.
So, this week, we're talking, of course, UFOs.
Oh, yes.
What's your, right, what would you say was like a typical UFO abduction? Just out of kind of like research purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so, what you understand it to be, what do you think is kind of like what to expect? If you were going to get abducted tonight, what would you kind of expect them to do?
I'd expect to probably be asleep, then I wake up, can't move, get taken in a light to a nice little ship, put on a surgeon's table, probed and examined and brought back. But I reckon if I ever found that out, I reckon that it would be more than one time. I reckon it's if you've been abducted at least once, you've been abducted at least a number of other times.
Really?
Yeah. So, and you've either got something left in you, or taken out, taken away from you.
You've been implanted or something.
Yeah. Well,
now, Linda Napolitano, or whatever she's called, she claims pretty much what you've just described, right?
Yeah.
Like, she was abducted and taken aboard a craft where she was kind of like, she doesn't remember. She's got pretty much kind of a mental block on the whole what happened. Yeah. I think, more of a mental block about like what happened once she hit the ship, but she remembers the actual transporting from her room to the ship.
Yeah.
Relatively quite clear.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she started kind of regaining a bit more memory on it. So obviously they say it's a bit of a controversial case. It was researched, and there does appear to be eyewitnesses. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, what are you saying off the bat? I mean, you love your kind of UFO abduction cases. Yeah. Do you think this is an abduction case that stands up as something that is very plausible and could be solid evidence?
Actually. Yeah, because when you even mentioned it, when we was talking about what the next subject was, this is one of them that I looked back years ago when it come forward, and it happened November 30th 1989. Just a general mother with 2 kids and her husband, and then
1989.
Yeah, where all this like she's never had these kind of experiences before, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, bang, she wakes up at like 3:15 a.m. in the morning, with looking at seeing something looking at her straight away. But what got me was that some of this that we're going to talk about, it could work out to be sleep paralysis and stuff like that.
Well, but she claims that she was abducted and floated from a closed bedroom window, and hovered up to a UFO. Yes. So, I mean, it's a bit kind of... I mean, when you say sleep paralysis, that's we've talked about sleep paralysis and, that type of thing. What is it they call it? Like with shadow people, and you have these experiences.
Night terrors.
Like, but generally speaking, that's the fear that kind of comes over you in these instances where you're gripped with fear and you can't move, and that's part of the fear, the fact that you can't move. She's claiming that she couldn't move, but she was being transported, and she remembers that process vividly. Yeah,
but she also when she first saw this person, or 4 foot grey, as she's described it, she actually threw her pillow at it first.
Right. Okay. So she could move.
She could move at that time, but then she said she had a white. She tried to wake her husband up.
Yeah.
She had a telepathic thought to her, basically telling her to shut up.
Like Gaga.
So then she ended up having feeling like a white cloth over her face.
Right.
And when that happened, she fell back on her bed, and then from her feet up to slowly building up to her head, was starting to, like, she couldn't move. She was frozen. And then when the beam took her, it actually put her into a what's that position when you're a baby? That fetal position. Right. So she can fit outside her small window, which had metal bars in it.
Yeah. How did she get through? So she basically they basically must have manipulated matter to bring her through the solid wall.
Yeah.
Right. Now,
Totally.
some sort of matter manipulation, but she claims that she was obviously hindered by memory loss.
Yeah.
And she could only recall bits and pieces of the abduction itself.
Yeah, that's right.
But she could remember vividly the actual kidnapping from the room. So how did she explain the teleportation process getting through the wall? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Did she mention that at all?
She just mentioned that she was forced to get into that position, and then when she come out the window, which it seemed like there was nothing there, we just slide right through. Then she was put up in the prone position, and then there was the alien at the end of the bed, and then two more right next to her.
Right, okay.
And this was 12 stories. So it's not like small 10 feet or something. This is like 12 stories high. She come out and then started floating towards the Brooklyn Bridge.
Right, yeah, because like I say, there was actually people who witnessed the actual event itself.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, were these people just randomly off the street?
Actually, some of them were family members.
Right.
And then there was a number of them. There was a couple of guards and VIPs.
Right. Okay.
All around. Yeah.
Well, so basically, Hopkins, who was investigating it, he started to become like ridiculed by many of his kind of fellow scientists in the field, just because he was so kind of. He thought it was so genuine, or believed it so genuine, that, and his research was getting so kind of recognised, I suppose, at the time, because it was being put in the media a lot. So obviously it was a lot of people who was being a bit negative about his research and calling it rubbish, calling him out on it.
Yeah.
But then these witnesses have come forward two witnesses at first, known as Richard and Dan, who claimed to have actually seen the abduction. Everyone was a bit doubtful at first because obviously these witnesses claimed that they saw, this woman floating around, or basically being like abducted from the building, and then allegedly floating up towards the sky, and obviously they wanted to kind of corroborate their way of what happened, their kind of account of what happened.
Yeah, their interpretation of what happened,
but against Linda's account of the abduction.
Yeah.
So, apparently they were both bodyguards as well.
Yes,
for the United Nations statesman who was visiting Manhattan. So again, high kind of ranking people.
Yeah.
Right. And
totally.
You got to think, well, what did they have to gain by kind of coming forward and saying they witnessed something?
Well, when he was seeing witnesses, he actually didn't get any of the witnesses together or anything like that, because these two characters are quite interesting, actually. Because,
right, okay.
They tried to contact her, but they turned around and said no, stop contacting her and stuff like that, like leave her alone. But they were heavily on her case. They even stayed outside her house and stalked Dan and Richard.
Stalked
Linda.
Why?
Because they wanted to know why she was picked, or was she an alien? Because
these guys were like obviously had some sort of training or some sort of
special.
Actually, they were reported to have been physically shaken by the whole event.
Yeah.
They viewed some surreal scenes there.
Oh, yeah.
And these men had encountered an unbelievable sight. So they've kind of been, it would kind of raise questions, wouldn't it? You'd want to know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How there was, how was she floating? If you work for the military, especially, would you kind of be interested to know how that was happening?
Well,
if you could kind of report that back as,
Well, there was
intel. I don't know.
Altogether, there was 23 official public reports of witnesses of this. But later on in the years, another 21 of witnesses have come forward.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
But now how many of those people are legit witnesses? Do you know, because there's got to be a lot of people just jumping on the bandwagon. You know, obviously, you know, the fact is, though, yeah, there was obviously some sort of craft there, yeah?
Yeah.
Did anybody witness seeing a craft,
yes.
a floating craft?
Light craft, all that business, yeah. But
oh yeah, like all that all them business.
But what got me on it is
all that shenanigans.
Manhattan's a busy day and night place, and
it's a 24-hour town, isn't it? So I mean, at the end of the day, you'd expect, and especially going towards the bridge. Yeah. Which I would imagine is, I mean, if you live there, let us know if that's a busy bridge. I mean, what's it like generally? Can you, if you were to see something strange, that's a big vantage point as well, crossing a bridge.
Yeah.
Because you've got a kind of a whole view of a harbour and, you know, a coastline. So,
well, a woman called...
and if someone's floating towards it, you're probably going to see.
Yeah. I mean, it depends though, because don't forget we've got busy lives, and most people don't look up. They're only starting to look up now because, like, they're not as busy in their lives. You know what I mean? And there was a witness, Janet Campbell, who stated that when she was crossing the bridge and she was near this object, that her car stopped, and so did all the other cars around her.
So people must have seen her.
Yeah, but there was a traffic jam because of cars stopping, and within that traffic jam, there was 2 government officers. There was also 2 foreign secretaries and their guards, who actually reported but couldn't put their name to it because of, you know, they work for the UN and, you know, foreign.
Well, in Linda's own words, she said basically when it came to, like, talking about the floating, and how she felt when she was being beamed up.
Yeah.
Scotty. She said she felt like she was standing on nothing, and they take me out all the way up, way above the buildings.
Yeah.
She felt like she hoped she wouldn't fall, and then almost like the UFO opens up, and it's calm, and she's inside.
She has tears in her eyes, she noticed.
Well, yeah, I would as well.
Yeah, I think that's more of the wind.
That probe's got a sting. I hope they use some petroleum jelly.
Well, yeah.
So, you know, obviously, she sees basically benches that she thinks are just normal kind of regular benches.
Yeah.
And then they bring her down a hallway, doors open like sliding doors, and it's all really futuristic.
Yeah.
Then there's lights and buttons along a long big table, right? Mm-hmm. And she doesn't want to get up on the table, but they get her up on it anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they were forceful, but like, and then they start saying things to me, and she's just yelling. Do you know, like...
Yeah, she did notice that, didn't she? That she could actually use her mouth. She's frozen.
Yeah, she can still... She says, I can still yell.
Yeah.
One of them says something that sounds like... in fact, do you know what? I've got a thingy here. One of those pronunciation things, because this is, I'm assuming, an alien word. Give me a moment.
See if it is an alien word. Can we get it?
It doesn't know.
Nobieg.
Nombieg.
Nobieg.
Novieg.
Nobieg.
Nobieg.
Novieg.
Yeah, so I don't know what that
Russian.
means, but that's what she claims she heard, that one of them said something like that.
Yeah.
So they were trying to tell her to be quiet.
Yeah,
because they put a hand over her mouth.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon? I mean, it does sound quite aggressive.
Yeah.
You got an hysterical Linda on the table. Do you know, she didn't obviously want to get up on it, but this is the thing. It's like she didn't want to get up there if she's paralysed, but yet she does seem like she's got a bit of fight in her, because she was saying she doesn't want to get on the table, but they got her up there anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It does seem like she's not as kind of paralysed or kind of unable to react to the situation as we're made out to believe. But again, it's like terror. If you were in that situation, you didn't recognize your surroundings, and you were being abducted, then how would you kind of? A lot of people probably would kind of just cave in and just go, just
under the covers. It's
go
not
with
there.
the flow. Yeah. Just kind of go. Do you know what? I'll just ride this out.
Yeah. If he touches me, I'm going to scream.
So what you saying?
I'm saying it's like the bits in the ship and stuff like that reminds me of Travis Walton and stuff like that as well. And there was a lot, like I said, there was a lot of witnesses of her family, and actually when she got back, she actually because she remembers little bits of, they've been probing her here and there, that she actually had, went and had an X-ray on her face to see if her face, if anything was in there. And I found out as well it was actually a family member who was the doctor who actually did it. And they found something there. Well,
it's funny you should say that. She had something in, but she found something there because, do you know the two security guards, the bodyguards?
Yeah.
Right, well, they started kind of trying to deal with what they'd seen. And basically, they ended up going a bit like, unstable, irritable, irrational, and a bit psychotic. One of them even became to think that Linda had unusual extrasensory powers or influence over them.
Yes.
And others. And began to stalk her. Like you were saying, they were hanging around outside the house. Do you think that they blame Linda for the change in behaviour?
I think that they think that she had something to do with it. And
I don't know, because like I've actually found this instance here where they were saying like in an interview where it could be the fact that their careers and livelihood were at threat because all of a sudden they've been put in the limelight in the media about witnessing this thing. But then again, if they've come forward as witnesses, then they've put themselves in that situation.
True, but what about the VIP? The VIP, if the VIPs who I'm going to state soon,
who the actual
VIP at the time was?
Yeah, it was. You can tell. I mean,
they probably want to know who she is. If they've seen it as well, they probably want to know the same as the guards. But the guards have been like pressurized that I'm forcing you to go and find out any means necessary, because later on these two go quite a bit nuts that they actually kidnap her.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they kidnapped her in 1991. I think it was April 29th, 1991. They kidnapped Linda and bundled her into the car.
Yeah, and questioned her for like 3 hours.
Yeah, quizzed her for 3 hours. Dan became increasingly upset with Linda.
Yeah.
As she basically repeated stating that she had no idea why the abduction had happened. She had no clue.
Yeah.
Do you know, like she's kind of as stumped as them.
She's a victim as well,
but like obviously she kind of reported that she stated that why it had happened. Linda would actually get kidnapped a second time by the men.
Yes.
Who tried to pry information from her again.
Dan started the kidnap on that one, and he actually saved her because it was.
But they started thinking that she was involved, and she was involved in the abduction itself. Yeah. So like, obviously these guys wanted information, and now all of a sudden it was like, well, she's the only one connected. She must know what's going on. So they start trying to irrationally try and get that information by fucking putting lives at danger and kidnapping. It is a mad case, isn't it? So obviously, it did get reported to the CIA because obviously these two bodyguards were getting kind of weird. Originally,
a bit over the top.
And this is how they kind of came across the kidnapping and breaking the first kidnapping.
Yeah.
But like I say, they ended up kidnapping her again.
Yeah. Well, Dan did, like I said, but then Richard found out about it, and he basically got to her in time because Dan was going to go a bit further than He should be. He should do.
Well, Richard, do you know what? So they made statements, and Richard said that there was an oval-shaped object hovering over the top of the apartment building, 2 or 3 blocks up from where they were sat. They didn't know where it was coming from. It happened too fast, and the lights turned from a bright reddish orange to a bit of a blue colour coming out the bottom. Then a green light rotated around the edge of the saucer, and a little girl or woman wearing a white gown sailed through the window in fetal position, stood up in midair, and then the beam of light basically took her up into the craft.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were human or what. So basically, he said the heads were proportionate. How did he see?
How do you mean?
They're saying the heads were out of proportion, very large heads.
Because...
with no hair. I mean, they're saying the craft was only 3 stories up, but I mean, it's like...
Yeah, but the thing is, though, if you stand let's say a normal woman at 5 feet, and then you put a 4 foot, like, midget next to him with a big head... I suppose, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but still, it's like at the end of the day, right? If they're saying, I can believe that they're saying that they saw the ship, 4 stories up, and that this woman got beamed through the wall. Now, if you saw a woman flying through the air, you could probably say without, that's a woman, but these space creatures, alien greys or whatever, I mean, would have been known to her because she's bored in the ship. Yeah. But how's the witness know what the pilots of this ship are like?
Well,
I mean,
unless
he there were the bodyguards of the diplomat, right?
Yeah.
They had nothing to do with her in particular. They just witnessed an event.
Yeah, but the vehicles were stopped, and if an issue is going off near them, they are going to have a look. They no doubt got a pair of binoculars in the
right.
car.
So you think because they were a diplomatic visit, they only witnessed it because that's
equipment.
But no, because I mean, at the end of the day, they're out there looking for threats because that's what they're paid to do.
Yeah.
So they've gone out there looking about.
Yeah, it is
and gone.
White light.
What's that? Yeah, that's not normal.
Yeah.
And they've ended up getting involved in this situation, which is obviously, which again, it's not like it is today where, and even today to an extent, I mean, look at what's going on with the Pentagon report.
Yeah.
And pilots only just able to say oh, well, I actually seen this.
Yeah.
But back then, I mean, even in the 80s, early 90s, it was still kind of like, you say you've seen a UFO, you're a bit of a nutcase.
Yeah.
So when these are government workers who rely on, their career to pay the bills, right? And if they start kind of getting involved in this, you've witnessed a UFO sighting, then he's going to get, they probably a degree of mockery, a bit of kind of like, co-workers not being as kind of understanding,
and you're not
taking the piss a bit.
With other countries, if they're taking the piss.
Who
out
knows?
It,
potentially as well, if it causes issues with their employer being like a government employee, where they potentially could turn around and say you saw nothing, and try and silence them about it. Even potentially fucking dismiss them, right? So.
Mental anguish and shit.
Yeah, so these I mean, it did cause them mental anguish though, didn't it? Because they kidnapped a woman twice. Yeah, right? Stalked her.
Yeah.
Because of what reasons? Because they felt like she knew more than she was letting on.
Or she was in danger. They knew that there was something about her that the reason that all this stuff's happened around.
Well, like you say, more witnesses did actually come forward because Hopkins' investigation would gain again more additional momentum when more witnesses to the event would come forward, and
But he never got them together, and he never spoke to Dan and Richard. He never actually spoke to him. He only did it by letters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as usual, like going into the Hopkins would keep details of the case, so like there is a lot of information about the case and the eyewitnesses who said they'd seen the abduction by the Brooklyn Bridge. So like I say, I was pretty kind of on that where, I'd assume that on the bridge is a great place to view this.
Yeah. And it was a massive ship.
But why did nobody come forward at first? And like I say, I think a lot of people are just jumping on the bandwagon because I think once the information's out there, yeah.
Well, 23 did at first.
Say, yeah, I know, but say like, you know, unless I'd only take the opinion of people who reported that to me on the day, yeah.
Yeah.
You come to me 23 years later, yeah. Well, all the information to this case has been on the internet, it's in books. Yeah. You know, the case files are easily obtainable.
Yeah.
And you can go, oh, yeah, and if you happen to be on the Brooklyn Bridge that day, yeah, or close by.
Yeah, and
right?
You've seen anything
Well, no,
strange.
you didn't have to see nothing, but if you know the case history and you can turn around and go, well, I can prove I was near Brooklyn Bridge that day, then you very well did see the event and could claim to be an eyewitness. But, you know, unless you're the guy making a phone call and that's the phone call that they're using as evidence, where it's like, I'm on a bridge, I'm just looking up in the sky, and I can see a UFO, and there's a woman flying through the sky. I just thought 999 call or 911 call.
Yeah,
you know,
boy, people like
that I trust more as a. Yeah, still, you'd still get mobile phones back in them days. It doesn't matter.
And only
as long as you
money.
can make it. Well, we're not talking about the economic fucking, thingies of a fictional character, but at the end of the day, it's like this guy, or it could be. What I'm getting at is, I take the evidence of these people who are eyewitnesses on the scene and are reporting it as it happens. Yeah. Or videoing it as it happens. Yeah. Nowadays with mobile phones, but you know, over somebody who could easily kind of pop themselves in that situation because they can claim that they were there. Yeah. 20 odd years later. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if there's a couple of witnesses that come forward in pretty much straight away, then I'd believe their story and testimonies over these next people. But like I say, there was a few people who, you know, had compelling evidence to suggest that they did witness it.
Yeah.
Janet Kimball, or Kimberly, said that they saw it. Said it was like they thought they were filming a scene from an upcoming sci-fi film.
Yeah.
So, do you know?
Which I find actually a little strange that, on that one, to be honest, because if you know how our visuals and that are even better now.
Yeah,
now,
but this is the thing. It's like you take it for granted that, like, you just go, oh yeah, it's probably like the new Marvel movie or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, nah, that's all done on CGI. There's no special effects like this.
Exactly.
Well, she was a retired telephone operator. So again, it wasn't like somebody who was, she's had a respectable career, I suppose. I don't know. She was a working person. Like she's never seen anything like that. And like I say, the only thing that she could kind of put into context what this event was a movie. Yeah, like the film in a sci-fi movie. So,
I just can't thingy off that, to be honest, the sci-fi movie bit. I there's no way that, like, especially in 1989, that, like, you know, you'd have that kind of...
Well, you were saying, I know, yeah. Well, I think 1989 was a great year for sci-fi movies.
Yeah, it was.
So,
great.
You know, the 80s and early 90s. But, like, you know, going back to the case, though, we were talking about the two witnesses originally, right? So, obviously, they were chaperoning a dignitary, right? So, it stands to reason he saw the event as well, yeah?
Yes.
So, wouldn't you think that his testimony would be, like, you know... worth more 10 of the security guards,
especially public.
Well, who was it then?
Who was it? It was actually a former Secretary General of the UN.
Yep, yeah. It was Java Perez de Corral.
That's
Corella. I don't know.
Yeah, they
terrible.
Yeah. It
was a dude.
Yeah,
right. This dude, he was like Taylor was saying there, he was a general of the United Nations. Yeah. So obviously, you know, investigators, Hopkins especially in this case, wanted to kind of get in touch and try and find what he saw.
Yeah.
And see if he even acknowledged the whole abduction as a thing. Was it that it was him who was so invested in trying to find out what the fuck was going on here, and told his bodyguards to go and find out. Well, yeah, and that's why they were so irritable.
Yeah. This is a suggestion that they might have had pressure put on them to actually get the information, because they wanted to know, and like obviously they're a part of his service. So,
well, obviously, like I say, he works for the United. He's a Secretary General for the United Nations.
All he'd have to, realistically, even back then, all he'd have to do is go, right. Well, let's bring up satellite images.
Yeah, well, that's it. They could totally get that evidence if they wanted, and probably have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, you know, if he witnessed it, and like these UFOs that we're seeing at the moment and all the rest of it, where they say, we can't acknowledge that the UFOs. Well, it must be foreign tech then, in that case. Yeah. Well, same in this case. They would have looked at that. You've got a fucking high up fucking United Nations person who's going to go back to his meetings and go, you'll never guess what I saw. Yeah. Legitimately saw something fucking beyond my understanding. So if it's not UFOs, who's got this technology? Yeah. So and he wouldn't have kept it quiet.
He was the top man of the UN. Actual right at the
fucking
top.
hell. Was it the guy who was working on the Ark of the Covenant? He was like, who have you got working on this?
It's
top
like,
men.
The
top men.
The what is the general when you see UN meetings, and like they've got like the head of the UN. Well, he was the head of the UN at the time of this happening. So he had a hell of a lot of power to actually be able to do anything.
Right, okay.
He had the most power to do it. He could have easily just turned around and gone, yeah. But not even saying anything like that.
Well, like I say, she says it's a alien greys that abducted her. She still maintains a story. Do you think that she could have been kind of gifted with sort of like extrasensory powers, or sort of an implant of some description that's kind of preventing her from remembering all of this story? Or has she now remembered the whole story? Does she remember it vividly? You see, the thing is, the memory's a funny old business, isn't it? Because it's like, you know, you start constructing bits or trying to rack your brains to what's actually. It's like when you're trying to remember a dream.
Yes.
Yeah, and the more you try and think about it, the less you remember. And now it's only like when you hear the witness testimonies and shit, and then it'll be like, and that says to me, that's understandable why she remembers a lot more about the abduction itself than the actual, you know.
Yeah,
no, actually, she seems to remember quite a lot about the actual abduction, but claims not to.
She was put under. She was put under a couple of times to see, you know, back conscious to see what would come out of it. But the thing was, Buddy actually,
Linda,
every single piece of evidence he had separate, and he never met each other, the witnesses or anything like that. So he brought all the statements together and had a look at the statements, and there was stuff in there that actually combinate that actually, you know, something was going on.
You know what? Knobbly egg.
Knobbly egg.
Knobbly egg all over your face.
Which means what? Come in peace?
Shut up. Apparently. She was, well, that's what they said, trying to tell us to shut up.
Yeah.
And covering her mouth. So knobbly egg. Knobbly egg. Right, anyway. And that's what the cover. We're getting hashtag knobbly egg.
Knobbly egg. And the actual thing that was put in her nose, she had x-rayed a couple of months later, and it had actually gone. But the evidence of the cartilage
dissolved,
was still there. Not
or been removed by the aliens on another visit.
Yeah. Well, this is it. This is why.
It just really fascinates me how she got out of the room. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the, like, you know, a riddle in itself, isn't it?
And what about the husband and kids? What, did they see, hear anything?
Well, I've heard stories, and when you were talking about sleep paralysis and stuff like that, right? That's weird in itself, but I've heard stories of people being abducted, and like the whole family being sort of frozen, you know, while they were being abducted, and then when the person's been brought back, they've been kind of reanimated?
Yeah.
Or do you know? I don't know. I mean, could it be that sort of thing?
I haven't heard.
Or is that sci-fi? Have I seen that on a TV show and I'm just kind of going, wow?
No, I think I've heard at least 2 cases.
I will use my freeze gun on your husband.
And being frozen.
Well, no, because this is the thing. Because I think in one case, they like you were saying earlier about kind of being able to speak.
Yeah.
I think. There was reports in one case in particular where the family do remember being able to see what was going on, but were out of, like, in a sleep paralysis sort of way, but couldn't do anything about it. But then when she was returned, they didn't remember anything. Do you know what I mean? It was only after she relayed her story and...
that it brought it.
Well, I think it became like something again where it was like later down the line there was some sort of regression on the family, where they were able to relay the actual events of the night. Well, do you know what I mean?
See, this is kind of the funny thing of like abductions and that. I mean, like for all we know, us 3 sat here, we could have already been abducted and we don't even know, and we didn't.
You definitely have.
Yeah, they love me. Yeah,
you've been up a couple of times.
I'm famous in the galaxy.
Yeah, he's like, they call him what's
Flash
it?
Gordon.
Pluto.
Pluto's my little home, man.
Captain Pluto.
Captain Pluto. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got downgraded. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, right.
But may think of it. It may be actually upgraded again. There's talks about it may be upgraded again.
Okay.
Yes.
Would you think that should be the case? Do you think we should be upgrading, downgrading planets in any way?
Yeah, because we've got to get
we're finding
right.
so many. Like, you know, you see, there's a story in the news which we'll go into later because I don't want to go into it too much because you've just reminded me, and I will get into that.
Okay.
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting story this week. Let us know what you guys thought of Linda Napolitano.
I've been wanting to do this for a while.
You got her name right.
Yeah.
Fucking right at the end of the episode.
And now you'll remember it all your life.
Linda Napolitano.
I'm going to ask you tomorrow.
And I'll just say straight away, Napolitano in it.
I'll probably forget anyway. They'll be like, yeah, all right then. All right.
Well, let us know what you guys think. Do you think she was really abducted? I mean, obviously, it seems quite, cut and fucking dry.
Yeah.
You know, with the all witnesses, especially the caliber, the caliber of witnesses. Now, what happened with the guys? Do you know?
As far as I'm aware, they basically
did they not get in sort of any sort of replicants for the kidnappings?
After the second one, I should imagine so. But don't forget, they're government workers.
So yeah, well, like I say, if they were working for this, this United Nations guy,
General. He's got all the power in the bank.
Well, they just basically say, well, I was under orders. It's like if any military operative or any sort of soldier going into a combat situation wouldn't be like, oh, well, I'm not going to go in shooting all these people because, I might do time or I might get in trouble.
You're under orders,
that's a job.
About it.
So, I could appreciate that these guys could have been acting under, higher
but then again,
orders.
Could it be just that little effectiveness of seeing that craft there and seeing go in there that's fucked their heads so much that they've gone. Must have been talking about it for a little while, and that they've convinced themselves that she's either an alien or
she's an alien,
or she's got some kind of special ability.
She's
or
Linda the alien.
You might even be thinking of money.
Alien in New York
or
Manhattan.
They might even be thinking of money. They might have even turned around and gone, you know what? If we could bring this to the government, they're going to pay us big time for this kind of stuff.
Linda knows, and that's it. They thought straight away, we're going to go and bring the only other person we know who's connected with the thing is Linda. She knows more than she's letting on.
Yeah, let's spy on her, then we're
poor Linda again. Is all I'm saying. I bet she'd have a nervous breakdown, didn't she?
After that, she's had a
peaceful life.
Peaceful life with her
Let's
husband
hope.
And kids. Yeah, man. Yeah,
reach out, Linda. We'd love to know your story. If you ever get to hear this, let us know. If you want to come on the show, we'd love to have you.
I'm actually looking at trying to contact Bob, Buddy. Sorry.
Oh right.
To try and see if we can have a little word with him.
Buddy.
Yeah. Let's see if Buddy's free. Well, if he is. Sweet.
There you go. Well, we've got like I say, if you want to get in touch about anything we've talked about in the show so far, you know what to do. We've got a promo this week. This week's featured podcast is brought to you by Tennish Podcast.
Oh, I love a little bit of Tennish.
The great Tennish. I've been a fan since we started podcasting. They've been going as long as we have. They're really cool.
Yeah.
If you like comedy and sort of educational podcasts that do breakdowns of top 10 lists,
these are the boys.
These guys do a great job.
Yeah.
They do all sorts of stuff in terms of like top 10s. Deadliest animals, best-selling video games, most viewed websites, the lot. It's just really cool. Every episode's fun.
Yes,
the guys are really good hosts as well. You can check them out. We've got them linked up on the website, so you can go to the featured website, featured podcast section on the website, and you can find them there. Subscribe, show some support to small
us
streamers
and them
and us. Us, them. Podcasters. It's all good. Well, here's the promo. We'll leave you with that.
Are you into top 10 lists? What about pop culture? Or maybe you're just a nerd like us. We've got a show for you, loser. Hi, I'm Nick.
I'm Brandon.
We're the hosts of the Tennish Podcast, a comedy and edutainment podcast covering a new top 10ish list every week, including fun facts and trivia. We've covered lists such as the top 10 most popular 90s songs on Spotify,
the deadliest animals,
the worst U.S. presidents,
the leading causes of death,
the best-selling video game franchises,
the most common murder methods.
Okay, are you going to give one that isn't about death?
The deadliest jobs in America.
Listen to these and countless other top 10 lists every Wednesday at tennishpod.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Top horror villains by their kill count.
I think we're done here.
If you listen to this podcast, there's a good chance you will die.
We are the Tennish Podcast. That's 10ISH. Bye.
Thanks, guys, for dropping us your promo. You can send in yours too by dropping it to Never Straight Answer. We've got a list of them, so we'll put it in and get it up as soon as we can.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we like to help you guys out as well. Do you know what I mean? So, you can do that.
You can.
Oh my days! Sorry about that. I've got just had a swig of my coffee.
It's gone down the wrong hole.
A little bit.
Yeah,
but we're all good. It's mad, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd cough it up, wouldn't you?
I know, but you kind of want to. But
yeah,
there's nothing you can do, really, is there?
That's true.
It'll go away. Yeah, right, anyway. While my heart start getting heartburn, we'll go into the news.
We will.
It's the news! And as usual, we've looked over the World Wide Web to find you the best, weirdest, most unusual and bizarre news from Earth, space and beyond. And this week's no disappointment.
No.
We've looked for about a whole solid
half hour,
something like that.
We put an extra 10 minutes in there.
We did. No, actually, we did. We sell ourselves short. We act like we put minimal effort in, but
we do it all week.
Probably because it sounds that way, to be honest. So it's like, but we do actually put a bit of effort in.
We do.
We found some news stories this week, and I'll start with this one. Right, it's a bit of an odd story, right? Because you've heard about the Bermuda Triangle.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Right. Well, this is a Bermuda Triangle style mystery.
Oh, right.
About pigeons.
Pigeons.
Yeah.
Okay.
So apparently, freaky weather's being blamed for hundreds of thousands of pigeons.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Suddenly going missing, vanishing into thin air on the same day.
Oh,
right.
That's strange.
Up to 250,000 birds were released in about 50 races across the UK on Saturday, June the 19th, but only about 10% of them managed to return home. So thousands are still missing, and have basically some have been spotted.
Yeah.
But as far out as Holland and even Mallorca, right? But masses have disappeared. It seems like it's a bit of a mystery, and basically people are saying there's a Bermuda Triangle over the UK.
That's mad. Now, the first thing I was thinking of is hawks and stuff like that could take.
How many hawks? You see pigeons everywhere. To see that many pigeons go missing, you must be fucking gangs of hawks going round.
Yeah,
abducting pigeons.
Could weather.
Well, that's what they're blaming. Weird weather, but I mean, where's the weather? I mean, what sort of bad weather have we really had? Today it was a bit thunder and lightning, actually.
Have we had raining pigeons yet? We might have raining pigeons somewhere.
Oh, don't say something like that.
It might
like
be.
I say, some of them have managed to get to Holland or Mallorca.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Who
knows where they are?
Trained right, or their senses.
Well, no, because I know pigeon fanciers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it's sad because they raise them. You know, they get them eggs and they raise them and they make champions out of them. Yeah, right. And it is a risk you're sending it up into nature and hoping that it returns. Now, obviously, pigeons, as you know, have been trained over the years to carry out missions and get messages across enemy lines, all types of stuff.
Yeah.
They're very good at being... You know, they've got a very good homing instinct.
Yeah.
And they do get back to where they should be.
That's true.
Sometimes it takes them a bit longer, and hopefully a lot of these pigeons will find the way home.
Back.
Yeah,
yeah,
right. But
it's a lot. Well, unless someone.
They said the forecast that day was good. A little bit overcast in the morning, but good visibility. By the afternoon, it was clear blue skies.
So there really shouldn't have been an issue. So why are they blaming the weather then if they've actually concluded that the weather was right?
Who knows? I mean, if if you're a pigeon fancier, let us know what you think about it.
Yeah.
Because I think homing pigeons should be what they do. You know, they do go home. They use the Earth's magnetic field to guide them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Which I think is more than likely the bit that's actually put them off course.
If you ever wondered how a homing pigeon works,
Yeah.
Magnets.
Yeah, just magnets everywhere.
So, have you seen anything?
I've seen the film Friday. That
Freaky Friday?
Film. No, just Friday with Ice Cube.
Oh, right, yeah. That's classic.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the last one of the movies is
they were going to do, because he did
next
Friday after next, a week on Tuesday.
Yeah, and then Thursday morning.
Right, go on. So what? They're doing a new one or not doing a new one?
Well, supposed to be doing a new one, but they've been talking for like the last 7 weeks, and I'm afraid it's broke down that they're at a standstill because of directional purposes.
In other words,
gets cast,
creative differences.
Yeah, where do we go?
So, no, well, that's a good thing, right? Because I'd rather them not make a movie because it's shit. Yeah. Right. If you wrote a script and it's like the franchise Ghostbusters, right? So Ghostbusters is a fond movie for a lot of people, right? It's got childhood memories. It's a classic. It's got your good casts. It's well written, but it's grounded. Great film.
The new
right?
one's due, isn't it, soon?
Exactly. Right. But we've already had one iteration of a new Ghostbusters, and it didn't fucking work, right? No. So you've got to be very sensitive to these things. When you've got a film that is a franchise and you've got fans who kind of hold it in, you remember it from your youth. Now, Friday's one of those movies.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so they've got a responsibility, as the creators, to make it hold up to the original. It's got to be better than the original in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well,
I think Eddie Murphy's just done Coming to America 2, which was decent. You know, when it holds up to the original, I thought it was decent enough. Yeah, right? It was funny. It kind of had callbacks. It was re-brought characters in from the original.
Yeah, I like that.
You know,
yeah.
It was good, right? As kind of sequels go, you know, it was better than I expected it to be. Yeah,
really?
right.
Oh, right, okay.
So, like I say, but you've got a kind of a responsibility to the franchise. So I reckon by saying, do you know what? Well, rather than do it and do it poorly, we just won't do it. Yeah, until you can get it right. And that's why I think a decent Ghostbusters movie has not appeared for so long, because rather they wrote drafts for it, and Bill Murray said, I think in an interview, that he wasn't interested unless, you know, the script was top dollar. Yeah. You know, and they never came to an agreement on it. So, you know, but in that instance, but Friday, it's like, but again, they've still got reputations on the line.
Ice Cube and Warner Brothers have been discussing about it, but there's been discussions for many years, like when we want another next Friday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just a case of like all that time. Obviously,
if they still feel like there's a story to tell there, then that's cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
there's definitely
Then,
a story
let
to
them tell. Is it Warner Brothers who have turned around? Because Warner Brothers.
Probably. They're not as powerful as
they're
they used
making
to be.
some random decisions when it comes to making films recently as well. You know,
there is a bit
you know, I think let your creators create.
That's
you know,
what they're there for.
and stop making it all about the money. Yeah, and let it be. You know, and you might surprise yourself because you know it's always the films that they didn't expect to be massive. That come. I doubt they thought Harry Potter was going to be a really massive film when they released the first movie.
Blair Witch
Project.
I mean? What, 35 grand they spent on it, and they made like 30 odd million.
Was that Warner Brothers? Was that a Warner Brothers movie as well?
No, I think it was.
It doesn't matter. They're all kind of do the similar thing, but I think Warner Brothers more so.
Yeah. I'm just wondering when they're going to go next. I think they're going to end up disappearing. To be honest, myself.
Nah, doubt it. Well, there used to be a Warner Brothers shop in Manchester, and I used to love going in it.
Yeah.
Right, because it was banging smack in the Arndale. Right.
Yeah.
And they had like big statues or like sort of resin mold casts of the favourite characters. In one window, they had the Batmobile. Yeah.
Oh,
so like I think they say it had a little plaque saying it was screen used, but I kind of thought, I bet there's one in every shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They made a rubber cast of it.
But they used to. It was great. You just go walking around the Warner Brothers shop was amazing. Anyway, off topic.
Well, could you get in it?
It was a store, the Warner Brothers store.
Yeah, but could you get in the Batmobile?
No, that was in a glass thing. It was pretty cool to just kind of go past. If you remember it, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
This is a bizarre story.
Oh, right.
A man who has filed a complaint against a gang of ghosts.
What?
Yeah, it's true.
Ghosts?
Well, they've had gangs of pigeons going missing, got gangs of ghosts. Probably they've stolen.
Yeah.
So this is an incident that was reported. Oh God! Why is everyone trying to trip me up with pronunciations tonight?
Oh no!
The Jambugaho police, who filed a complaint against 2 ghosts on Sunday morning.
No, that's just what the.
So the case was brought in after a man claimed that he was confronted by a gang of ghosts, out of which 2 threatened to murder him. Yeah. So according to seriously. So according to this news station, the 35-year-old man, a resident of Hamlet in is it Jambugaho? Yeah. Toluca, right? Basically approached the police station and asked the police to save his life from ghosts.
Right. It sounds like someone's dropped a bit of acid or something.
Maybe. Well, this is seriously. After listening to his story, though, obviously they helped the man, with his complaint. They said he didn't seem like he was
on acid or anything.
He was a victim, treated him like a victim.
So now then, that means that the police in that country are actually stating that it is a form of ghost.
Well, there was a bit more to it. Obviously,
reported,
later on, the victim's family were also basically contacted, and it was revealed that the man was undergoing some sort of treatment, but he'd not been taking his medication for the last 10 days. So, wow, do you know what I mean? This is the thing, though, about medication, right?
Yeah.
Because
important.
Even if you didn't see ghosts before you started taking it.
Yeah.
It's the when you stop, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that chemical imbalance again. And then who knows, you could come off taking those tablets worse than you went in.
Yeah, I should
mean?
imagine so, because over time I'm presuming
like I went seeing ghosts earlier, and these ones are threatening me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Push him away.
I'm seeing ghosts.
Well, if you were in Cornwall, you'd probably see a 18-year-old man digging a hole in on the beach.
I'm a grave digger.
Yeah, he's playing
on
around.
the beach.
digging it. Yeah.
There's always a kid digging an hole on a beach.
Oh no, this is an adult, 18-year-old.
There's always some fucking student digging an hole on a beach.
Yeah.
What was he digging an hole for? Was he built like Joey and Friends? Like, you know, I'm gonna. So you see, when I was a kid, right, I went on a beach and I dug an hole, right, and for no reason just started digging a hole, right, and I remember
Australia.
the intrigue of other kids.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Right. And it was amazing because what you doing? I'm digging an hole.
Why?
Why? Just digging the hole. Well, can I help? And I ended up having about a 4-man crew, helping me dig this hole. But what was the point? We're just digging. Yeah, why not?
No perfect reason.
It seems that this guy was doing a similar thing.
He's been watching you. That's what he's been doing, and he I suppose he wished he'd never done it because he dug the hole
Couldn't get back out.
Fell in it, and then it collapsed on him.
Oh, right.
Yes, so
it was a burial.
It was a rescue then, the family and firemen, police, actually getting down there.
Novice hole digger, that's what I'll say.
Yeah, and it's
didn't think about structural support and, integrity.
What he probably...
Sounds like he tried tunnelling when he first kind of heard this story. I thought, was he tunnelling?
Yeah.
You know, was he trying to do like I've seen I've been a big follower of mining videos on YouTube.
Yeah, give no explanation, and he's now back safely at home. As the police said, they come along, they arrest, they pulled him out, give him a check over, and then he went home, and it's still like, hold on, what's he got there?
I was in the news once. Why? Because I fell in a hole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're a dumbass.
Yeah, and then it fell on me.
Well, we're from one penis to another. They've got a story about a British man who became the world first. This is a world first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a British man who was the first to break his penis vertically.
Bam. Oh, my face. Ow.
Right, suffering from a 3-centimetre fracture.
Oh, I'm getting pain just thinking about it.
Ooh. I've heard this before, though. Yeah, where it's like you kind of pull out, and you're banging, and ow,
wicked.
But that's usually a horizontal break.
Yeah.
This is a world first. You heard it here first, people.
And let's hope it's the world's last.
I hope so.
Yeah, for you gentlemen out there, let's
sounds
hope
painful. There's literally every man in the audience there going,
grabbing his ghoulies, going, I wish, no, stop talking about it.
This is the first reported case of a horizontal, like I say. Apparently, he didn't hear any sounds or anything breaking when it happened, but he was a 40-year-old unnamed man.
Yeah, I bet he's
who broke his penis while having sex with his partner. He didn't hear any sounds, like I say, or any breaking. But normal. He's now become a medical marvel.
Oh, he must have
in
felt
this case,
something.
which has been reported by the British Medical Journal.
Oh, he must have felt something in him, and he's just gone. That's all right.
It's funny because there's actually no bone in the penis, is there? But you can break it, and your fractures do happen when the protective layer around the erect tissue, which is pumped full of blood, can get damaged and bends.
Really
you get an unusual bend.
Yeah.
Don't want one of them. I know the girls like an unusual bend, but you know,
like this.
Not like this one. Well, the medics said, they've never had a previous recorded case of normally the horizontal, like I say, but in this case,
the first
it was a split.
It's just. What would you do with
poor bloke?
Will it fix itself though?
Yeah, it'll heal.
It'll heal. So
he's just got to lay off it for a while.
Well, not happy, and I bet the girlfriend ain't as well.
Well, it depends how it happened, because you know what? It's like sometimes you might put yourself into a bit of an awkward
situation.
Yeah, you know, he's 40. He's not 20 anymore.
Yeah, no chicken, no more.
Right.
I get my kicks where I can.
And then he's I don't know, fell off the bed in something.
I've heard a couple of them.
I don't know. Fuck knows what he's done.
Yeah, well,
who knows what goes on behind closed doors?
Well, yeah, loads of stuff.
So,
well, you'd be surprised that in India, there's the head.
I probably won't be.
The head of the largest family in the world has just died, and he's left 39 wives, 94 kids, and
Mate,
33
how many kids?
grandkids. 94 kids and
Were they all
33
getting child
grandkids.
support?
Yeah.
Was he must be paying?
How old do you reckon he is? Oh, well, sorry.
I was.
Yeah.
Right, he's got to be rather really fucking ridiculously old or really young. Like,
I'm giving you the options, son.
he was 89, wasn't he?
89, do you
Yeah.
reckon? Eh?
Yeah, he's got a lot of kids. He's
89.
got 90 kids.
Yeah, try 76.
Shit.
Imagine having an extra wife as well. Oh,
How many wives did he have?
39 wives.
So it's going to be a big send-off then.
Yeah. And then they're always pregnant with like 94 kids.
So what does that mean that that all them wives are now free to do what they want?
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that.
I mean, because if you think about it, like,
or
you
he's
know,
going to take on the responsibilities.
or like, does he leave? I mean, I don't know what I disrespect anybody's sort of way of doing things, or you know, whatever. But like, you know, in a legal sense, right? You've got the wife who gets 50% of your earnings, in a death situation. But if you've got fucking, does it get split
kids,
equally between all your kids? Does it just go into foundations? I don't know. I mean, what happens? Do they all get looked after? Is what I'm saying. It can't be a kind of a good system.
Well,
I mean, it is for him.
Well, yeah. Well, he lived
was
in 100 rooms in a house, 4 stories high, and it was all pink. So you know where he lived, or where the kids knew where he lived.
Daddy's house.
Yeah, Daddy's house is here.
I wouldn't have painted it pink though.
No,
I mean, I'm not saying pink's not a colour that whatever you want, but like
one of them colours.
I'd like pink.
If there was a pink building round here, you'd know that house, wouldn't you? Whenever you go, if you walk around and you got lost, where's the pink house?
There's not a kid of his who doesn't know where Daddy's house is.
Yeah,
and if they don't know, they can just ask one of the other people they bump into in the street. Where's Daddy's house?
Yeah.
He goes, he's up there.
Yeah,
you should know.
Yeah, that pink one there. Yeah, not the yellow one, the pink one. No, that's blue.
To the colourblind kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the other option that they've got a bit of an issue there. But yeah, that's a lot of kiddies, man.
Well,
a lot of kiddies.
So
he had a good time.
Well done him.
Imagine, yeah.
Do you know what? So what's the point then? Is he? Obviously he's passed on now.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know if it's going to be the biggest one now.
Was it just?
This one
was you just telling us that it isn't that amazing?
Well, no, that it's amazing that how many wives, kids, and grandkids.
That's what I'm saying. Well, yeah,
and this is the largest in the world.
That's a legacy, though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, this is weird, though. It's like how does he manage to get all these wives and I can't even get a date?
Yeah. Well, there's the question: could they all be his kids? There's one as well.
What do you mean? One of his wives might have been playing away.
Well, yeah, you never know.
But you'll just slip him in with the others. So you won't know.
You're not going to know. Yeah, I'm not going to pay for all these sad DNA tests.
Oh, for
you know
fuck's
what I mean?
sake.
Yeah. So I'll just say, all right, mate. I know you're ginger, but go on.
Well, I found this story here. This is talking about genetics and stuff, actually. But basically, this is do you know when you think scientists are going to find some new species or some evidence of
massively brilliant,
I don't know, something weird. Yeah, right. This is one because they found a fossil, right, and it was fossilized dinosaur poo.
Oh,
right. You wouldn't think you'd find much in that, would you?
A bit of grass, maybe. Yeah.
But you think dinosaurs ate quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But in this, they found a new beetle species. Right,
dung beetle, is it?
It was fossilized in dinosaur dung, and basically, it's saying new researchers said it's a specimen has turned up as a hidden treasure, or a 230 million year old species undiscovered. Pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, I was just looking at something. I haven't got the details on me actually, but I was just looking at something that they found a man, the first man they reckon that had a shark attack, which was 30,000 years ago, and he was bitten. What was it?
The first man to realise sharks bite.
Yeah, 79 tooth mark
across him. Now, does that where was he found? Because if he obviously was found inland, it means that it wasn't. Well, potentially it could have been. I don't know when the waters recede or whatever.
Yeah,
but if you're more logical to think if he was found inland, is that he was on the coast, got bit by a shark, survived it, and moved,
crawled to the corner,
and survived. Do you know what I mean? So that's quite cool.
Yeah,
I think obviously
it's
weird that they find these things, and obviously it is a good place to look.
Yeah.
In fossilized poo. It's how owls have these pellets, and they encourage kids to look through these pellets.
Yeah.
Do you know? Have you never been to one of these sort of as a kid when you'd go to like farms or anything like or hatcheries?
Yeah, I've done a couple of them.
For a school trip.
Yeah.
And like they'd go, I've been to a couple as a kid where they'd go, oh yeah, here's these pellets, and you'd break them open to see what kind of owls had eaten.
Right,
and they'd be like mouse skeletons and stuff like that. Yeah. And I mean, obviously that's...
I've never had it when they've actually...
It's biology.
It's
kind of... Well, I don't know, would they do that nowadays? But, I mean, this was the 80s, I suppose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
You've got a bit of poo on your hand.
It's like, just have a roll around in the mug. Yeah. Kids, get in with the pigs.
Yeah, go for it. And then it's dinner.
Yeah.
Dinner time.
Nobody's telling you to wash your hands. Yeah, and you're just all tucking into grubby sandwiches.
What's that bit? That's a bit spicy taste.
So, I find it still interesting that, but obviously wear gloves.
Yeah.
If you're going to be opening dinosaur poo.
Or at least wash your hands, especially nowadays. Because you don't want
because there's a say to that where you kind of, is that missing from... the world now where you kind of...
You know what?
Everything's 99.9%ed with your domestos and your rubber cleaning products, and you're wiping the sides and all the rest of it. And it's almost like we are the boy in the bubble. We're disinfecting everything to the point of...
affecting us.
And this is the thing, when it says it kills 99.9%, it's not... these good bacteria that it's killing as well. It's killing everything. It's not just killing the bad
drop
stuff.
In your mouth and
there's stuff that is actually good for you.
Yeah,
and that's why they say, don't they, when you're a kid, go out and play.
Yeah,
go and fucking. I was in streams and in woods and up trees and all sorts as a kid.
Go and experience life if you can.
It's not even about that. I mean, I'm talking about in terms of immune system boosting. It strengthens it.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know
totally.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I say, we're doing this culture of kind of domestosing everything. I'm using domestos a lot, but I'm talking, disinfectant. A disinfectant.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we're disinfecting too much.
Yeah, I totally.
Which actually, I believe probably strengthens these things as well, because obviously they talk about variants and mutations.
Yeah, superbugs.
Yeah. It's like we fight it with disinfectants, then they have to adapt.
Yeah, exactly.
And the only way to adapt is to get stronger than the things that are killing them. So you've got to be careful. And anyway.
Don't forget, one of they've only got two duties, not like us or animals or anything like that. They have two duties: one, survive; two, mutate, and that's all they do. And that's
it. Circle of life, isn't it? Yeah, survival, just like everyone else.
Yeah, so it makes them more dangerous.
Yeah. So anyway, we could talk about that. I'll move into some NASA news.
Yeah.
Have you got anything no other stories before we go into NASA?
No, I haven't. Go for the NASA news.
Right, okie dokie. Right, so Hubble telescope.
Oh, yes. Mr. Hubble.
Well, it's been it broke, didn't it?
It did.
Well, we talked about it the last couple of weeks. Hubble, they've been looking into it, why it broke and how they could try and fix it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's the end.
Oh,
the experts have said after 31 years, the old girl is beyond repair, despite NASA trying to sort it out and trying to get connections to the signal back up and running and try and fix the problem.
It's almost
been about 3 weeks after the computer glitch.
Yeah.
And it's just probably just floating aimlessly in space now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think either aliens done it or aliens should go up there and fix it.
Well, they should try and get it. Well, they're going to have to try and recover it, aren't they?
Yeah, they more likely are. And
it depends how far out it is as well, because these telescopes, they've been sending them out aimlessly floating through space.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we're still getting a signal from it and we can get data from it, then great, let it just keep going. There's no retrieving it. It's like...
You could retrieve it, but
I don't know.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. It's like we haven't even been out that far ourselves. These telescopes have been out further than we ever dreamed we'd go.
Well, then I think it's about time that we can kind of start...
We need to take responsibility about all this space junk.
Oh, yeah. Instead of thinking about how to get it, actually go out and get it. You do the work, not just turn around and, like you said, like, oh, we'll leave it floating, blah, blah. We'll get it in, like, 2059 or whatever, you know what I mean, when we've got better... Well,
so
you can't
use
get there
it.
unless you use it now.
But the problem is, it's like I say, it's still going. It's like it's got a momentum, and like if there's no sort of, resistance in space, it's just going to keep floating out.
Totally.
So if we turn around and say, right, we've got a date where we want to try and retrieve it.
Yeah.
We've got to then project how far ahead that's going to have travelled.
Yeah.
In the meantime, as well. So it's like it ends up being a longer journey than expected, or if they fathom that in, I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it?
They start doing it now.
Is it a case of that? One day we'll be like, it'll come round the back of us, and we'll be like, oh, right, so it goes all the way around.
Or
potentially
it could be still operating under its own power, and it's still taking images, and maybe even get some important images that we ain't even consider. There may be a corruption in it to actually do something, and then when we do end up retrieving it,
found footage.
Well,
you mentioned the Blair Witch Project a minute ago, but that is the ultimate found footage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because obviously it's like, you've sent off a camera.
Yeah.
Now, they're trying to say it's beyond repair, but it's only the signal, as far as I understand it, it's the signal that's sending back, or the handshake.
Yeah, they can't get all
get the handshake.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that handshake is necessary for the whole system booting up and working and being operational, or if it's just the handshake that's able to send the data back to them and everything else is still working.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It could be that, and it's just that they're so far away that they can't get to fix it.
Yeah.
They can't do it remotely.
Yeah.
But it's generally only the transmission function that's broken.
Software.
Yeah. So, but I don't understand if that means the whole thing has to shut down, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Or is the camera still rolling and it's still aimlessly floating through space, and it's going to get to a point where it's run out of memory and it can't send anything, and it'll just be that. Yeah, that'll be what's on its memory banks.
Yeah.
And one day it might be discovered and be, like I say, the ultimate found footage of something potentially unbelievable. And
this could be actually.
But if we've got that far to eventually intercept it, then we would have seen all those things on the way.
But we might not have. It might have been hidden away from us.
Who knows? No, you might have seen a craft of some description of something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
Aliens.
Might see inside the ship.
UFOs.
Talking, having a meeting.
Always UFOs to worry about.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, Jeff Bezos.
Oh, yes. Who can forget him?
Well, he's up on his
Jollies.
Origin.
Yeah.
It is Origin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Blue Origin. They should have called it Amazon.
Yeah, but then he'd have to pay an extra couple of...
It's his company.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Jeff Bezos and his bro.
Yeah.
And the winner of a charity auction, 28 million for the ticket, are all off on a
nice little
the Wonkavator. They're all getting in the capsule with Bezos, and they've selected a pilot.
They have.
Crazy, mate.
I know, he's totally crazy.
Well, I'm not sure. You'd think, wait a minute. So this woman, she's a NASA. She was basically wanted to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
She passed up because of her gender. She was obviously a lady astronaut.
Yeah.
Qualified as she was.
Yeah.
Then she was obviously weren't accepted or weren't put into any programs because she was a lady, which it was the sign of the times. It was part of the times, and it was horrible. Shouldn't have happened.
Yep.
But
Totally.
5 decades later, after doing all of her NASA training and everything like that, yeah, right, she's now going to be the pilot of Jeff Bezos' rocket.
Whoa.
Yeah, do you know how old she is?
62.
82. 82.
Well, 82. She's going to be able to be able
She's going to have a fucking heart attack. Well, the way this reads is that she's already had a NASA training, so she's all good.
She's all good to go.
So, yeah, but that was like 50 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
And
I'm sure things have changed since.
Yeah, because there was an announcement, I announced it last week about how they're, because he's going up, that billionaires have to still go through
the rigorous training.
Yeah,
exactly. But this is what I'm saying. He's got a pilot and she's happy to do it. And but, maybe she's like, hey, I'll fucking pilot it, Jeff. Don't you worry. And she's like fucking actually planning to fucking off him. Do you know what I mean?
I like it. It's like, you dirty dog.
This will teach you to lose me parcels, you prick.
Yeah, that's true. I got nothing to live for now. I'm gonna do the duty.
Well, Jeff, he's basically chosen an 82-year-old pilot. Who was, like I say, declined her astronaut wings because of her gender, to rocket into space. With him in just 3 weeks.
3 weeks,
the company announced this on Thursday, was it Wally Funk?
Wally Funk
will be on board.
Right.
The July 20th of launch from Texas.
See.
So.
Well, do you know that scientists have said that we're the expanse, we're going fast through the universe because of the Big Bang.
Oh yeah, so like like anything, you think like if you've got an explosion or some sort of like energy blast, then you'd feel like that there was initial speed up and then projection, wouldn't you? Everything getting from the center being pushed out at a speed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
and
it's mad though because
scientists have been saying it's getting faster and faster.
Yeah, it's mad to think though because it was like if we're going also travel, if we're also expanding but we're also spinning.
Yeah,
it's a weird sort of feeling that we don't feel much.
Yeah, because it's like basically we're like
small.
A bullet.
We're so kind of small riding all this.
Yeah, the minor touches to it. Well, it's been announced that actually it works out that 70 kilometers per second, which is 1 meter across, would only, for a year's movement, would only be the size of an atom.
Really?
Which is
that's not
nothing.
Much.
It's not even.
So like I know, but like I say, it's so we're not actually moving. Is that what they're trying to say?
That's what
there's a discrepancy of that much.
Some scientists are trying to
say we're hardly moving at all.
Yeah, so
is
it
that what they're saying?
Really have to be recognised big in the science.
So wait a minute. Was he a flat earther?
Probably.
I don't know. Well, because it feels like it is a major contradiction.
One thing,
yeah, that is a massive contradiction by saying that obviously, like I say, it makes sense when you say, well, you've got the Big Bang.
Yeah.
You like any sort of explosion or sort of energy, you're expelling outwards. Do you know what I mean?
Proved that
you have like an eruption of energy.
Yeah.
So the explosion, then everything's being expelled. You've got all this energy rushing out.
Yeah, you got a wave of it.
And that makes sense. So what makes sense as well that would be that eventually, that any sort of anything in the way that got expelled out would eventually slow down to a stop. So
or
what's
hit
he trying?
An edge.
Well, yeah, but if it's infinite, then would you hit an edge?
Well,
would you not just? Or
then it implode.
Yeah, I know, but how would it? Because at the end of the day, right, if there was sort of like remnants of anything and it all got kind of expelled out and we formed planets and stars and things, then if it was space was infinite, then it'd just keep going until it reached its initial stop, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there is an edge, but there's a very high likelihood that things will stop before they ever reach it.
But there's also
a
reverse.
What I mean?
So even believe that it's like a heartbeat. It could be a reverse. So you've got like three things. One,
this is too deep.
and then everything will slow down.
It's like that in the Truman Show where he gets off his boat and he's like, oh shit, it's not clouds after all. It's like a wall.
Well,
it's like, what do you mean by an edge? Because I mean, an edge of what?
Something we will hit. The universe.
But we already believe there's nothing but space. So even if we hit, an edge, I mean, wouldn't it? It's so kind of vast and empty that how do you know that you've not reached the same point? Like you've gone round in a big circle.
Well, yeah,
you wouldn't even know until you hit a landmark.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, this is it. But then you've got to bring. Then you've got the second one of pulling back. So we'd be going into the Big Bang instead of coming out of it. And then there's the other one of the explosion.
Yeah, you see, this is it's like I'm convinced that there's probably like a million explanations for this, or like kind of hypotheses. So. If you've got an idea what it is, let us know in the comments.
Well,
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, please chip along.
I don't know, to be honest. That you've just bamboozled me.
Well, it bamboozled me because I still think we're going. Yeah, bamboozle.
Yeah,
bamboozle me.
Go on.
Yeah, because I've always put it as like how they've said that we're going fast and we're getting faster and we've been getting faster and faster.
Yeah, but
and if this combination
but it's not contradicting itself, is it? Because I think I've just said it, probably not as eloquent, but like what I'd say is that if it could have been going fast to the point where it's slowed down. Now the fact is, science could back that up, but when you kind of look at what was his name? He did the old 70s sort of astronomy show where he looked at the timeline of how long we've been on the planet. Yeah.
Right.
And he says, like, if you want to look at it like a timeline, you've got, or a clock, everything that's happened up to now is only the first 7 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Then everything that happened in the whole human race happened in like 30 milliseconds of the last second of that time. Yeah. So if everything from like the dawn of creation up until the creation of man took 6.5 seconds, in that 7 second period, everything that humans ever did was the last 30 or the last 30 milliseconds.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So
we're a minute thing in
we've got, and that's only the Earth being created.
Yeah.
So we got to take into account like what happened, like those billions of years beforehand. Yeah. So it could have been speeding up. Life only could maybe have occurred on planet Earth because we slowed down to a point. And then over these billions of years, it came to a complete stop. And that's just me, using best guess. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not saying that that's actually correct, but,
Well, I don't think they're correct, to be honest. And only time will tell.
Oh, you don't think they're correct?
No, I don't. I think we are going at a faster pace. And, well, why would you change it now as over the last 20 years?
We've got a new ocean last week.
You know what I mean?
Pluto's not a planet now; it's going to be a planet again. There's so many conflicting. How do kids keep up?
I know.
Do you know, in school, it's like you teach them one thing at the beginning of the semester, and then by the end of it, it's like it's done.
The world has changed.
The world has changed.
Yeah.
Well, a survey said. Well, I've got one more NASA story. Have you seen this one? Right, it's a photograph that's appeared on Instagram. It's caught something pretty amazing, apparently.
It's mad.
This guy who's an Instagrammer has been shooting volcanoes in India.
What, with a gun?
With his camera. So, and he took basically quite an interesting photo, right? it was caught a long light green sort of beam.
Yeah.
Sort of, it looks like it's coming out of the volcano.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's a strange photo. It
is a strange photo, right? But I've kind of had a look at it.
You have,
and I think I can kind of deduce a few things by it, right? Now I will post it, so everyone can see.
Yeah.
But so looking at the image, right? Your star's visible in the sky, right?
Yeah.
So that suggests he's been on a long exposure image. He was taking the photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So
must have.
It could have been like, well, firstly, right, let's look at this laser beam.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really thin at the end.
Yeah.
But then the light comes down, like, so if you were thinking of a torch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Then it would be the beam of a light where it'd be thicker at one end and thinner from the source.
Yeah.
Right. So the source is higher.
Yeah.
Right. So if it was a beam pointing down towards a volcano, it was coming downwards, so it's not coming out of the volcano.
Yeah, that's
going
the way it looks,
upwards.
yeah, it looks
right?
like
It's coming down.
Yeah.
Well, or it could be moving across the sky,
yes,
moving behind the volcano, not so left to right, not up and down. Yeah. Now that's what I believe it to be. Right.
Yeah.
I think he was taking the photo on a very long exposure, right, and he's caught this flash, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying there wasn't anything there. It is very interesting, but it could have been something moving through the sky, lighting up, like could have been a drone. It could have been a UFO. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now a drone makes sense because they have lights on them.
Yes. They
yeah.
do.
And it makes sense that somebody could have been flying it over a volcano, trying to get some sick drone footage.
You know what? That's
right.
That's just. Yeah.
Now, if that guy has his camera on a tripod, then he's kind of like, setting some long exposure images to get some nice kind of images over the volcano, stationary object there. Yeah,
point things out.
Be able to get some of them stars in.
Yeah.
Because obviously the light travelling from the stars needs to take a bit of time to get into the camera sensor.
It does indeed.
Yeah. He's ended up catching something moving through the sky, potentially a drone, potentially a UFO.
Yeah.
But it's created that streak of light, like a light painting, rather than a beam of light or a laser or anything like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It kind of looks like an abduction beam. Do you know how you'd imagine like somebody was being abducted in the middle of that beam and being beamed up to the spaceship?
Now,
yeah. But
it's a funny thing, because when you just said about an alien ship coming, landing and that.
Yeah.
I mean, volcanoes are a really good place
to hide
where
a
you can
ship.
actually
Yeah, of course.
see
Unless
UFOs
it goes
over.
off.
But also weathers as well, like thunder and lightning and stuff like that.
Oh, right. So what you think, rather like a hot spot?
Yeah, it could be actually he's caught a ship landing at a speed.
Maybe.
But
like I say, it does look like a streak of streak, but like more caught, like it, as if you would if you were kind of if you were to streak a light across somebody. If you were taking a photo and you kind of moved the light across, the camera frame, and you caught that blur. Do you know what I mean? It looks something like that. I mean, again, it is a UFO sighting. It's pretty recent. Let us know what you think. We'll post that photo. And you can make your own opinion. What?
Do you think that bit there is split off?
Could be. It could be just going behind the clouds, potentially.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, you might be right there.
Well,
what about this then? NASA has sent up 128 baby squid.
What?
To space. Yeah.
It's mad they do these crazy experiments. Who comes up with this stuff? Because didn't they send something up and they were like, viruses, we want to know if viruses
outside
react.
the window,
Well, in space, do they thrive? Do they die?
Yeah,
what's the
big surprises,
situation? Yeah, and it was like they turned out that they were like actually came back 3 times as big as a control.
Yeah, food poisoning was massively
and so like it seems the vacuum of space is a positive impact on bacteria and stuff like that. I mean, what are they hoping to find from squids?
Well, there
some beetles.
Well, no, because I think it's because of their soft tissue of.
It's just gonna all die, aren't they?
Well, they want to do it to test the astronauts when they go up into space or coming back down. That the effects of their health.
Yeah, it's not going to be good if you're going to put up, unless they're making like little spacesuits for the squids. I don't think it's going to end well for them. Well, to be honest,
you got.
And I can tell you now that if you wanted to use that as an excuse to see how surviving in space. The effects on a squid in comparison to an astronaut. Yeah. Then I think we already know the answer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was an interesting
animal.
Interesting animal to actually pick. And the reason why is because in science and in the evolution of animals, this is a individual species. This is an individual species that didn't grow through the tree.
Well,
and it looks like it's away from the tree.
No, because I know, like, in terms of octopus, like, right...
Octopus, yeah.
Yeah, there's loads of different types of octopus.
Yeah, but that's octopus.
And squids.
No, but squids are in their DNA patterns, they're in a different level.
So you mean like...
So they actually put them as... there's actually a thing that they say that squids are alien.
I'm on another level.
Yeah, they're,
everything's
everywhere.
alien. That's what I keep saying. There's so much life on this planet.
Yeah.
I reckon the ark that everyone goes on about was actually... Us. It was the planet. Yeah. He was like, turned around and went, you know what? We need to get all these animals sorted somewhere. And he went, do you know what? There's this bluey-greeny planet over there. Let's stick them all on that. And then it's like there is a reason why like a lot of shit on Earth looks alien.
Now put that in a way that Earth was ship.
Yeah, the planet Earth.
Then the universe is the ocean. Then what are we going to hit like land?
How do you mean?
Well, we had land. As the story as the Bible goes, we had land. We were naughty boys and girls. So someone thrown a load of animals on the ship, waited for it to flood for 40 days, 40 nights.
You're taking the whole thing too literal. Do you know what I mean? That could be just like a vague translation. But like if you could argue like the if you want to go into turn it into an astronomical sort of story, then and Earth is the ark.
Yeah.
Then
we're in the ocean.
And the ocean being space. Yeah. Yeah. Then we might have kind of run adrift into a planet that was previously there that isn't now. Do you know what I mean? Which there is reports of a planet being, part of our solar system.
Yeah.
It's also was part of the fact that we had another sun, Nemesis.
Yes.
Yeah, that is almost... Well, we originated as a binary system, but Nemesis has drifted off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's something pulling on one side of our...
So, it's like these things that have happened to our universe and galaxy prior to our knowledge.
Yeah.
And who
Still
knows that these planets that surround us weren't inhabited by life, and... As a precautionary measure, due to the fact that this planet was destroyed, they all had to be moved to safety.
Supposedly, there's
the
no
only
life on
safe
Earth.
planet available. Earth. You know, mate. That's just
Yeah. See Noah's Ark story.
Shall I write a book? The true Noah's Ark story by P.G. Duncan. Is that where PG comes from?
Yeah.
I just remember. J.R. Hartley or whatever. Anyway.
Wicked J.R. Hartley, mate.
Fly fishing,
yeah.
So is that it for the show?
I believe so.
I think it is, because we're starting to ramble on now a bit.
We are getting a bit tired.
Well, thank you for everybody who's listened to the show. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, we did.
Like I say, we're not around next week.
No, we're not.
But
we're on our...
We're going UFO hunting.
Yeah, we're on our jollies and we're working at the same time.
Yeah, man, we're going UFO hunting in some in a UK hotspot.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be letting you know how that goes.
I hope we find something, I'd love it if we find
crashed UFO.
Yeah, either that or we'll get abducted. One or the other.
I think Taylor's more likely to get abducted.
No, please, no, not me. No.
I'll give it. I'll GPS track him or something, just in case.
No electrics. I don't want no electrics.
Well, if you want to find out how that goes, I'm sure we'll be posting some stuff at some point. But we'll be back the following week with some more great entertainment. Another fascinating, fun-packed fucking show.
Yep, as
I have to swear. Sorry, I do apologise for my crude language. If you've got anything to suggest, anything you want to add to the show, get in touch. If you've got any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at NASA_Never, and we're over on Instagram, which is getting a lot of new followers on Instagram.
Oh, man,
welcome, guys.
Welcome.
I hope you're enjoying the profile.
Yeah.
Obviously, I hope you're enjoying the podcast.
Yeah, we enjoy having you there.
We've had a lot of new. We had a lot of YouTube subscribers as well. So thank you everyone who's subscribed over on YouTube. We're available on all podcast platforms, from Spotify to iTunes, Anchor, Castbox, all of the anywhere you get a podcast.
Yeah.
Cliche as anything. Hit that like button.
Yes.
Or smash that like button.
Yes.
Ring that bell. Do all that stuff. Subscribe to us on Patreon.
Yes, we definitely love you.
Go over and pick it. Like I say, perks coming your way if you do. And that's it for the show.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I've said enough.
Yeah.
Well, you're an absolute hero if you've made it this far.
Oh, indeed.
We'll catch you after our UFO excitement. And take it easy.
Yes.
I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
We'll see you next time. Peace.
Out.